concern, and now Governor Lee and other legislators calling for more accountability on NES's preparation.
Well, I think we were out even before the governor's statement, and you saw he indicated our speaking daily, calling for more information, calling for the same level of accountability they are. So I share in the frustration of Nashvillians that it has taken this long to get this. I am encouraged by what we're seeing this afternoon, and we're going to keep pushing for a better response.
All right, go ahead.
NES is saying that some zip codes, including 37204, 37205, and 37206 and more, won't get power until February 8th. That's 8 is enough.
Well, I think the important thing right now is this gives Nashvillians an opportunity to plan, which people could not do this week. If you woke up Sunday morning and didn't have power, you didn't know anything about when it might be on. Now, at least, I think you can start to plan your lives. I think that's what we have been calling for. We know this is the largest outage in NES's history, and we also know that we are working with the teams that you got here at the Emergency Operations Center to enable them to get to sites free of risk. And so they've got the largest ever line worker response out there, but I think anything else about the data they're providing, I'd refer to NES to.
City council members have asked for accountability. You said you're not satisfied with the response from NES. What is the breaking point? And if this lasts past a week, what will you consider?
I've been in touch with the NES board chair. We are looking at all of the options. We'll probably have more to share on this early this week. We're still right now focused on all the response efforts, but as our office opens again for just standard business on Monday, I expect we will have more to share about the accountability process.
In terms of the storm recovery fund, tomorrow's the first of the month. People are going to have to pay rent. A lot of people have spent that rent money on hotels. When is that money going to be distributed, and how quickly can people get it to keep themselves afloat? We'll
get you some updates from United Way about that. They and Community Foundation have an MOU with Metro to make sure those. Similarly, we've been in touch with our Metro Action Commission, which has historically operated both rent assistance and heating and energy assistance. So all of this is a coordinated effort. Most of those needs are being cataloged through our volunteer organization's active and disaster process, and that's why visiting NashvilleResponds.com, getting those needs in, sharing that with United Way, using that 211 resource, letting us know what your needs are right now is critical. And again, encourage people, and Director Chief Swan has mentioned this, as much as possible, document the things that you're dealing with, because one other key update today is that we did see that the President approved the expedited disaster declaration from Governor Lee. That opens the door for the FEMA process to start, and that's also going to be a critically important piece of the recovery.
Do you know how quickly people will be able to get that money in hand?
I don't know. I mean, we have talked about the prospect in some cases of direct cash assistance, but I don't know, for instance, when those moments would be happening. Just to be clear, they have a full array of nonprofit organizations working through the VOAD process, and those are the ones that will be making decisions, but we are trying to move very, very quickly. I think in these early days, we've wanted to make sure we have enough resources in the fund to get back out to people very quickly. We'll make sure United Way follows up with you directly about timelines.
And then if I could, on the NES front, I know you had a lot of conversations with them before this happened. You said you've been disappointed with how it happened after the fact, but in those conversations prior to the storm, what were those like? Did you see any red flags? Did you have any concerns prior to the storm?
Well, I think the run-up, and Director Chief Swan knows this from the Office of Emergency Management standpoint, and I think Director Potter knows this too, as a utility that spends a lot of time looking at risk analysis and risk mitigation. You know, you looked at the weather, and if the pattern suggested that we might see ice in Memphis and less in Nashville. Once that shifted, their ability to adapt shifted. I think those first 24, 48 hours were really, and even the time running up to that, were focused on resource availability and then planning. I think it would have been very difficult to anticipate that we might see the largest outage ever in their history, and that's that's why they've scaled it to the largest response ever in their history as well.
That is something that our meteorologists were talking about, and I know we were preparing for those. So, I mean, were any of those concerns raised ahead of time, that you don't have enough, that NES didn't have enough people, that they didn't have the resources they needed?
I think more than anything, it was just that we knew that the amount of potential ice fall was going to be devastating, crippling, and dangerous, particularly because we knew that it was going to be followed by low temperatures. And I mean, I think that's one of the other things to reckon with here, is this has just been one of the most challenging weather events in Nashville's modern history.
So there
All
were
right,
no
we'll
conversations
come back
about-
to you. Let's.
I mean, we obviously had conversations about planning. The indications were they were operationally prepared, and I think the biggest shortcomings this week have been on the communication side. That's been clear to them as well.
And I just want to put a note to say, yesterday, Erica Mitchell from the United Way did join us. She did speak to the timing on releasing funds, so I would encourage you to go back and look at that. I think we all understand the urgency of getting that out into the hands of folks, and so they're working very diligently to make sure that that happens. Nira, I saw you had a question.
It's okay, I have two questions. The first one is like, I mean, because it's an emergency and a lot of people kind of work for maybe more than 7 days. Any way to help in like stop evictions or something like that? That's the first one. And the second one, a lot of my people have now electricity but don't have water. Any update on the water?
I'm going to let Director Potter respond to that in just a second. I'll tell you, we're looking at measures again with FEMA Response Active. We hope small business assistance comes online. Our ECD office is looking at that for those kinds of scenarios. Wage recovery, rent. We'll be looking at the eviction scenario. I know, for instance, NDOT has waived fees at sites. I think you're going to see a lot of people looking to try to keep people in homes. We're going to be a part of that effort as well. We don't have a specific eviction prevention scenario, but I will tell you, in the budget right now, we do have eviction assistance, and so encourage people to be, if they are worried about that risk right now, reach out to legal aid, and we have some other partners working with us in an already funded eviction assistance program. And Director Potter, I'll let you address the water concerns.
Could you give me some idea of what neighborhoods we're talking about?
They told me about West Nashville, but I'm not exactly the address right now.
Okay, if we could, afterwards, if I could get some more information. Most likely, their services are frozen. And that's an issue that we really can't resolve until we get increased temperatures.
Yeah, they same exactly the mobile homes in the West Nashville.
Okay, then their services are frozen. So why don't you and I talk after this, and we'll see what we can do. But unfortunately, if it's frozen, we have to wait for some temperatures to rise to solve that problem.
And I'll just share too, that's one of the reasons, and Director Chief Swan may have a comment on this. We have been working on some water distribution scenarios if people need critical access to water. Again, if anybody has a need that is preventing them from being not just comfortable or safe, especially in their homes, encourage them. You've heard Director Chief Swan talk about this over the past couple of days. Move on to that Plan B. Find shelter and solace at one of our warming shelters, take advantage of one of those other scenarios. And worrying, I mean, call us if it is critical on water supply and you need emergency assistance, call 911. If you need transportation assistance, use that transportation assistance hotline. Director Chief Swan, you might talk about the water access.
Absolutely. We're actually working in the Jolton area because we've experienced that. So we've got water distribution that took place today. I think it was going up to 3 o'clock, so they're doing it as we speak. Yeah, exactly. So as we work along with the community and we see that the need is there, we'll set up some type of water distribution, again, just to make sure we can support our community.
But that's what I want to reiterate for everybody. Across everybody who's here at the Emergency Operations Center, across every organization that is active in the VOAD process, we are trying to keep people safe. We are trying to meet people's needs. Don't second guess it. Don't wait until the point where you become unsafe. If you're worried, go ahead and start moving to get in touch with us. I'll say we are putting up on Nashville.gov come through the OEM process, as well as now a list of resources we've compiled that are directly from Metro or our key partners.
Can I add one thing, Mayor?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, back on the assistance side, wanted to note we do have the Metro Action Commission that provides rental assistance. We also have Metro Social Services. They have been very active throughout this, connecting with people in the warming centers, providing casework, especially for folks that are earning a lower income. And this is a tremendous expense for them to be going through this. So I want to be clear that we do have programs in place. The best way to get access is to call into 211 to talk to people on the line. I know it has been really emotional for them as they've gone through the last 24 hours in getting people connected to places to stay. And so do just want to encourage people, call 211. We do have programs in place, and as soon as we can get those funds out, they will start going out through those.
And
Can I say one more thing?
yeah, Director Potter, come on up.
I want to really reiterate the fact that if your service is frozen, make sure you turn your water shutoff valve off in your home, because if it's frozen inside your house and then when it thaws and it thaws on the public side, then you've got a hole in your house that's going to be spraying water. So if your service is frozen, please turn off your water shutoff valve at your home.
On the people's safety in their homes, we've already seen elderly people die in their homes, presumably because they couldn't call for help. What can you do in terms of welfare checks? And maybe this is for Director Chief Swan.
Yeah, I'll go there. I want to let you know a couple things. One of the reasons that as we distribute these generators to critical care points that we're putting carbon monoxide detectors there is that not only have we seen an uptick in carbon monoxide cases in local medical centers, a couple of the deaths seem to be related to that. So safety with generator access is also critically important. We have had, again, through the VOAD process and Metro Social Services, for people that we know are greatest need, scenarios like that, we've been tracking kind of assisted living and other scenarios where you might have multiple people living where there are senior population. MDHA, we've been in constant contact with them. Director Chief Swan might ask you to comment further on sort of the welfare check process that's underway.
Along with what the mayor said, our VOAD process is really one that we lean heavy upon. Organizations that are already in the neighborhoods and they know a lot of their vulnerable population, 54, Tennessee Immigration and Refugee Rights Coalition, the Equity Alliance, Stand Up Nashville, Hispanic Family Foundations, and others. And then as we are building our VOAD team and we start getting our hands on Nashville build up big enough so now they can actually start getting into these communities that we deem safe, so they can start doing more of these welfare checks. So we're depending upon not just the foundations and organizations that I've mentioned, but we also looking for our neighbors, each of us. We know who our partners are, we know who our neighbors are, so you help us. All of us can play a part in this, and we look for each and every one of us to play that role. Thank you.
And then if I could just say a quick note there, if you do go to check on someone and it is an emergency, a reminder, always call 911, and there will be someone dispatched there to help you. Let's take two more, if we have them.
I have a question for Metro Water. Sure. Obviously you guys have been busy to this point, but I know the busy part is going to start once it thaws as well. What does your preparedness look like, kind of preparing for that in the next few days?
So we're staffed 24/7. We have people doing a lot of things that they normally don't do. As an example, we've got someone in our engineering department that's delivering fuel. We've got engineers that are relatively junior that are acting as first responders and investigators. We've got our regular crews are staffed up, and we've got 3 shifts going, but we also have 4 contractors online that are staffed up as well. Right now, we've got more availability of crews, and I'm going to knock on something at this point, than we have main breaks. But as Monday goes into Tuesday, we're going to see a dramatic increase. And one of the things that's going to happen is we'll be isolating breaks before we fix them to stop the leakage. So there may be an example where you have a main break in the street, we'll show up, isolate the break, and then we'll leave and come back. So that's like a throughput kind of thing to get the work done as efficiently as we can. Operationally, we're staffed fine. The plants are staffed. They've been staffed fine the whole time. Our biggest concern is to make sure we have that contractor availability, and we feel like we have that. We actually have the ability to further scale it up if we need to. So I feel pretty good about where we are.
And I'll just add to this, in looking at the level of collaboration we've seen across not just entities within Metro and our partners, but with state. Director Potter shared an important story of working with MMPD and helicopters to show thermal imaging where they can try to identify those breaks. And similarly, what you just heard from Philip about NDOT's operations, they're using contract capacity, they're using TDOT capacity, they're using guard capacity, they're coordinating with OEM, they're coordinating with NES. I mean, this is a full-scale effort of multiple different teams, many of whom doing things they don't ordinarily do 24/7 to get the power back on, keep people safe.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it, everybody.